Hello and welcome. My name is Ali Goff. I'm the owner and founder of Goff Legal, and we help dead people and future dead people. That means we do estate planning, trust administration, and probate here in California. Now, you're watching this, you are not dead yet. You are a future dead person. Congratulations. What I'm creating now for you specifically is a video to walk you through how to support someone you love in getting their estate plan done. You're probably watching this because you have maybe tried a number of things and it's not working. Or you're thinking about how to start having that conversation with someone. Maybe you're a little uncomfortable, not really sure about it, but you know they need to get this done. You absolutely know this. Why? Because everybody needs to get their estate plan done. So, what I'm going to do is share a few tips with you that I think will help sort of get things moving in the right direction. The first is one, you can't force anyone to do this. It's just not the way the world works, it's not the way that estate planning works. And really, truly, honestly, someone has to want to get this done in order to go through the process. But that doesn't mean you can't be there to support them. So the first tip I have is offer support. You might say something like, have you thought about getting your estate plan done? Oh, yeah, I have. Wonderful. Where did you get stuck? Could I help you make an appointment? Would you be interested in some resources? Those sorts of things. Try and see if you might be able to have that conversation because they might have gone, you know what, I made an appointment, but I forgot about it. And I'm a little embarrassed to go back and go, don't worry about it. By the way, it happens all the time. It's okay. Sometimes people don't show up for appointments. We will often get them on the calendar at a later date and make sure that they're seated when they need to be. The next tip I have is to maybe bust some of those myth bubbles. One of them is that they don't have enough money to need an estate plan. Two things I want you to share with them. The first is estate planning is not just for the dead. The estate planning is really for your life as well. Healthcare directive and power of attorney. The conservatorship process here in California is far worse than the probate process, costs a lot more, and it's coming out of their pocket now while they're alive. I promise any estate plan will be far cheaper than any court supervised process when they're alive or when they're gone. If they're not really sure what a conservatorship is, you can mention Britney Spears. Most people remember her, and she was under conservatorship. And they go, well, I'm not a rich pop star. It doesn't matter. Anyone who doesn't have a healthcare directive and a power of attorney could be in a court supervised conservatorship once they lose capacity. And the second thing you can share with them is the probate limit here in California is $185,000. It's not that much. It is changing a little bit in April to allow a home plus that money, but oftentimes that doesn't solve all the problems. If they have special needs beneficiaries, if they have minor children, if they have more assets than that, that includes retirement accounts, investments, timeshares, second vacation homes, their family cabin. You can see how they might not think they have a lot of money, but I promise you they have enough to need some estate planning. So there's a couple of myths that you might help them with. Oh, another myth I sort of forget. People think that they don't need estate planning documents if they're married, and I will tell you that's not true. Just because you have a spouse doesn't mean they can make healthcare decisions for you. And just because you have a spouse doesn't guarantee that 100% of everything you own goes to that spouse. The state of California has a chart of where everything goes if the person who died didn't have a will. The next thing that I think would be beneficial and helpful for you to chat with them is find out what's beneath the non-willingness to go to the attorney or to even look into this. There might be some fears there that you can help have a conversation with them non-judgmentally about. What's stopping you? What are you worried about? I've heard this before. If I get my estate plan done, I will die. I wouldn't get my estate plan done either, would you? Sounds awful. I think I'll skip that one. Thank you so much. But then when they probably talk about it, they realize that's not actually the truth and there might be something else going on. They're worried it costs too much, right? Okay, fine. Google probate fee calculator in California. Show them the difference between what would it look like if they died with nothing versus if they had a trust. We're talking tens of and sometimes more thousands of dollars. So I hope that's helpful. Sometimes it takes time. That's my last tip is I don't want you to expect that you have this conversation and magically they spring into action. Why? Because I bet you if you're watching this video, you might also not have your estate plan done and you have your own reasons. I'm not old enough. I'm not dying. I don't have enough money. Fill in the blank. I don't have time for it. You're going to have to confront this too. You're going to have the same conversation. So it might be a, you know what? I'll go with you and I'll get my own appointment and we'll get our stuff done together. Sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes you going and get your plan done. And then you can say, hey, this was my experience. This is what I learned. Here's how I can support you getting it done. So it's very important that one, you hold space for this, that it might not be immediate, it might not happen right away, but to open that conversation, to have that dialogue might be the thing that someone was looking for because sometimes they think their family doesn't want to talk about death. They don't want to have those really uncomfortable conversations. And when the younger generation or older generation, depends on who it is, says, would you like to have a conversation about this and see if you'd like to take some action? You might be surprised what they say. They might say, yeah, I'm ready to talk about it. I'm really uncomfortable, but I know it's important. So I hope that helps with some tips on how to help your loved ones get their estate planning moved forward.